Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Solution Train Podcast. I'm Brendan. I'm joined in person again with Steve and Rob. Steve tried to steal beers across the table here today, even though it's not a beer that I am probably
It's not
going
even
to
stealing
enjoy.
beer. It's just right there. Now it's here.
I was just gonna say we almost don't need an intro song anymore because we're always laughing through the halfway through the intro anyway.
There's something going on.
It's either laughing or we're bickering about something, and
Yeah.
it's we should probably start the friggin' episode. Oh my goodness.
So anyway, what are we talking about today?
What we're talking about today is an interesting article that came out of the BBC, but it was a survey about alcohol consumption in Canada. And the reason why it was interesting because, we have a direct interest in alcohol sales because we're right on the verge of starting it ourselves. But it was the kind of the statistics that came across it for 2022. I believe, from 2021 to 2022, it's the statistical change in consumption. So I'm just going to read off the article here, just so everyone has the wherewithal behind it. But the article title is "Beer and Wine Sales in Canada Fall to an All-Time Low." So that's not a good start. And basically what it was is that alcohol consumption overall in Canada dropped 1.2%. Wine sales overall dropped 4%. And beer sales dropped 8.8%. But the one little shining example in all that is ciders, wine coolers, alcopops, and seltzers rose 5% of their market share. So overall, alcohol sales based on volume decreased. Total sales were up 2.4% because of rising costs driven by inflation, but overall down 1.2% overall. And as well, they're talking about some new taxes are supposed to come in. The federal excise taxes are increasing in April, though as a percentage, usually federal excise taxes are a small portion compared to provincial excise taxes, which are usually significantly higher. So yeah, that's basically the article that prompted this conversation. And yeah, as craft brewers in a space where the space is apparently shrinking, how are we feeling about that? And about the changing attitudes and trends of, people consuming alcohol these days?
Well, basically, I'm not surprised. Mm-hmm. You can there's a general, people are trying to especially younger, when you compare okay, so I guess you can take it, we're kind of middle-aged. I'm about to turn 40.
I'm 36. Brendan's 35. Yeah.
Right. So if you kind of take that, but you take if I look at say my parents' generation, drinking was more part of life. There was always you always hear about someone having beers at any time of the day, really any time, mm-hmm. or wine or whatever, right? There was didn't have to be at special occasions. It was just you'd have a daily drinker, so to speak, whatever it was, right? But then now when you hear about people younger than we are, you hear people trying to live healthier lifestyles.
I don't know what that is.
A lot of that. Yeah. Yeah. So you hear things people a little more conscious of the long-term effects of heavy alcohol consumption, right? So then people are going lighter on it. Yeah. So whatever. I mean, there's that, and I think it could just be and plus with the rate of inflation and things like that going on, and the cost to make beer is going up, so that means the cost of consumers going up, taxes going up. So this combination is just creating this as just it's a luxury item. So people are well, you don't need it, right? Beer's not something
that's correct.
Alcohol is not something you need. You get it because you want it. And yeah, so I mean, I think with all that stuff coming together, I can understand that coming down.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to take a second here just to point out the writing in this article. I absolutely adore it. However, more change could be fermenting in the alcohol industry. Even more sobering. New guidelines released last month. It's a very short article, but it's got just enough of that little punny stuff.
That's right. Actually,
I enjoy
that's
it.
another part of it that I forgot about, which is the government in Canada changed the recommendations for how much you should be drinking or can drink safely.
Yeah.
So it used to be 2 to 3 a day for men, and then 1 to 2 a day for women, with
Yeah.
a day break. Like they recommend you take a day of no drinking, and then anyway.
Yeah, so no drinking on Sundays.
And now
Or
now they're-
Saturdays, I guess. Cause
or whatever day you want to make it, whatever you pick one. Now
Let's
they
go with
changed it to
Monday.
2 a week.
Yeah, just 2 a week. Which, if you're drinking tall boys, you drink 2 tall boys, and that puts you over
No,
a
yeah,
standard.
Actually, one
That's
different because in Canada the standard beverage is considered the 355 mils.
12 ounces.
Yeah, no, so like as a 1 tall boy gets you 1 and a bit.
Yeah.
And then a second tall boy puts you right over the
Yeah,
limit.
so
So you can only have 1.5 tall boys. You got to pour that last one out.
Yeah.
share it with
last
somebody. Yeah,
Or share. Yeah, you could share 3 tall boys with somebody every week.
Yeah.
Which makes the 4-pack kind of weird.
yeah.
Yeah. If only 355s were still around. Slightly dead in Alberta.
Except for Banded Peak, I saw, has like a bunch of their stuff packaged in 355s now.
Oh, really?
And I was like, oh, well, that's how you know you sold out.
Yeah. Because you have
I was about
the.
to say, I'm sure that's the Labatt's influence. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had to take a picture of it in the liquor store the other day because I was like, this is
Super rare and everything.
I've never seen microburst packaged in anything less than 16
Well,
ounces.
well, you saw it in 355s, but it was if they already were established in the 355s. But no, it's tall boys all in my local
Or even
cooler and all
bottles.
that.
Bottles are really rare too.
Yeah, bottles would
Like
really
Village
thrown
used
me
to
off.
do bottles, and now they're switched to cans too. Oh, the microburst, really?
Yeah,
Those
12
were in tall cans, and now they're doing.
This is 12 355s, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, like it's like we were doing a little bit of stuff out in the garage earlier, but we were drinking, Brendan's low alcoholic brew experiment.
Yeah, we started
And-
experimenting.
The brew experiment.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, that's 1.5% or 1.2%. I can't remember what it turned out to be.
I don't know. Let's open Brew Target and find out. But go on.
But as a result of it, like, like even for myself, like thinking about consumption, like in my, late teens and early 20s, going to school and all that kind of stuff, I drank pretty hard. Like I, go out for beers every Friday and Saturday, sort of thing, blow off steam. And you never know, there's maybe a brew, go for a brew on Wednesday for beer and wings or something like that. And like nowadays, like I don't have the strength to do that anymore. Like I can't go out for like after one day of like water drinking. I was like, I get up and I'm like, ugh, I'm feeling it. I feel a little bit of pain. So like I can't fathom the prior generation doing that in their 30s and their 40s, but they did. Like that's that was the culture at the time. That's what they did. They went out for drinks and they were meeting someone else here, sort of thing. And like,
Well, it's a very social, like alcohol in general, not just beer, but it's a social thing. Like,
Yeah.
Usually you go, you have beers with friends, drinks, whatever, cocktails, whatever you're going to do. And then, I guess COVID has shut that down a lot
Yeah.
too, right? So like everyone had to stay away, so you're not really going out and doing that thing. So then because it lasted so long, that I think that habit started to stick around more.
yeah, and it's just like, especially with the kid running around, it's like I can't be in bad shape the next day. I can't. I've got responsibilities and that sort of thing.
Steve. Brennan shaking his head. Yeah.
Yeah, hungover, making breakfast for my child. Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic.
If you want to run with the wolves, you got to piss with the puppies.
But like even myself, like it's just, I am a craft brewer. I enjoy craft beers, and I like, getting away to do it every once in a while. But it's like I can't do it. I can't do it so much. It's
Yeah,
like,
it just seems like everyone has a legit reason. I'm not saying that they're excuses. Like people have legit
yeah.
reasons for these things. Like even for myself, like I was probably 2 to 3 a day until I got diagnosed, and then I had to quit. Well, I didn't have to, but I did for the right reasons.
Yes,
It was a good
definitely
idea.
the right choice.
And so like even now, so after not really drinking for like 6 months, 7 months, if I have 2 in a day, I can feel buzzed. So I'm like, I don't like that anymore. Like I'm too old for that. Like I'm going to be 40 years old coming up here in a couple weeks, and it's just not for me anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I still enjoy it. I still like the taste, but you don't need that buzz.
Yeah, which is the big prevalence, again, during the pandemic especially, it's been the rise of low alcohol or no alcohol beers. Because, like, I go into my, because I was doing grocery shopping today, like, I went and checked, and, like, there's Partake, there was our local Village, there was Wild Rose, had low alcohol.
I haven't tried Wild Roses.
Yeah.
I haven't tried that one either.
I've tried Villages, I've tried the...
It was...
the Partake.
There was
Partake,
the lager.
yeah, I tried that one
Yeah,
too.
Partake.
One
and
for
then
the
there's,
road I've tried.
Then there was, what was it? There was the Heineken Zero, the...
You were struggling on Heineken?
Yeah, I was.
He's trying to forget
popular
how
beer
it
as well.
exists.
Because I
yeah.
have a mental block about
Oh
it,
my
Brendan.
god! I was about to make funny. I was like, "It's not Heineken," and then he said it. I was,
Yeah, it's a Heineken.
Which, oddly enough, which is still the best non-alcoholic beer
Yep,
I've had.
still-
I got some in the cellar if you want one.
Yeah, I might go grab one. But that's the thing. Like, they now have this, again, very prominent 6 foot wide spot that it's no alcohol stuff all the way up. So, the bottom is beers, the middle is they've got some seltzers and ginger beers, and then the top is all wines and like Prosecco's and all that kind of stuff that have no alcohol. So it's just like it's easier to find now, and you can go buy it, and it's still expensive. Like
It's so expensive.
Well, that's because they're still making beer, but then there's an extra step of removing the alcohol
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
it. So it's actually more work to make it.
But
it's annoying.
it's very interesting to see it that, because it's like, oh, it's definitely, people are making that choice. They see that and they go, oh, well, I might have someone coming over. I'll pick up a 6-pack of that because I might have a real beer, but then I might have a 0% beer afterwards to kind of make sure I don't get too weird or fuzzy sort of thing, which was, again, the point of Brendan's experiment there to, try and recreate that craft beer in full force and,
Yeah, it's
balancing
funny.
force.
It's funny because I was also experimenting with it before my diagnosis, and then I had to stop. So because I obviously couldn't do it, I didn't have the energy. Chemo sucks, by the way, for anyone's got to go through.
Yeah, chemo blows.
Yeah, because otherwise, if I was able to still experiment with that, I feel like we'd be a little bit more ahead of the game on that one. But is what it is.
I mean, you've tried a few things. I've tried a couple things. We've learned a lot in terms of how to go about it and what doesn't work really more than what does work.
Yeah.
Still a long road to go. It's kind of it's a fun thing to experiment with, and we had the whole podcast episode a couple weeks back where I ranted and raved about the other guy's experiment. But
Where he basically made hopped water.
well, yeah, just the picture of it at the end. I was like, you didn't make beer, but
No.
the grain that you put in there is entirely superfluous to the entire equation. Like,
It gave it color.
no, it didn't.
On the one, there was slightly more color
No,
than the
it
other
was,
one.
it was just cloudy. you could achieve that with just the hops.
Cloudy's a color.
No, it's not.
Cloudy's a color.
Cloudy is not. It is the bar that you slide on, on
The
Adobe or
the
something like
opaque-
that. It's the
opacity,
opacity. Yeah. Opacity is not a color.
Oh, Brendan's getting riled up again.
Yeah. Anyway.
But I don't see the trend disappearing. I think it'll be a continuing trend.
It's only going to grow, because again, it was mentioned at the with the youth are much, as you said, like, are much more conscious about it. As a result, like, it's going to be less going forward. So at this point you got to put through like a really good product to show to make something worth purchasing. Like, if you're gonna spend your 2 beers a week sort of thing on something, or if you're gonna break rules and maybe have 3, make sure it's a really, really good beer.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Or, buy, a 4-pack of Solutions Missing Piece Full Strength and Solutions Missing Piece Missing Yet Another Piece.
The missing piece will be no alcohol.
Or the Lost Piece. I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to think of a clever name for it when I eventually figure out how to make it.
Yeah. It'll
That one's
actually
a
be...
ways away.
Or we'll have to change the name of the one with alcohol. It'll be like full piece, and then the other one could be missing piece.
Nothing missing at all.
Found it. Yeah.
Oh my word!
That's actually not a bad name for a beer.
You heard it first here, people.
Yeah.
In several years, when we figure out the perfect process that Heineken used to get the right flavor out of 0.0 and adapt it to a good beer.
Well, apparently they probably use the vacuum
method.
distill,
Yeah.
which is supposed to be the best method, but also the most expensive way of doing it.
Yeah, vacuum towers ain't cheap.
Nope.
They're
those
literally
vacuum
distilling in
tubes
a
suck.
vacuum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Vacuum tubes suck.
They do.
Oh my god, that gets okay.
That was an easy one, man. Oh, yeah, you just teed me up for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I wonder how many
it's-
people listening know what a vacuum tube is.
Speaking of generational gaps,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's actually an interesting question. Who would listening to this would actually know?
Nobody. I don't think anyone knows, man. We've all had integrated circuits for a long time now.
No, I still remember vacuum tubes in my my grandparents' TVs. So because we broke one once.
Yeah. Well, I don't think too many people remember what a CRT monitor is either. So.
Honking behemoths.
So you know that integrated circuit is full of a bajillion little tiny things called transistors.
Yeah.
Before we knew how to make transistors, we used vacuum tubes.
We had this too.
They were much bigger,
Also very heavy.
Significantly heavy.
which is funny because there was nothing in them.
What's the glass or whatever right there?
Yeah.
Like weighed
Yeah.
a ton. Yeah.
But yeah, it's unfortunately, yeah, it's going to be a trend going forward. So yeah, we'll just have to make a good product and make people want to buy it to make sure it keeps around. Which is, well, we're running into the problem right now that we're
We made a good product, and now we're almost gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
So due to our recent promotion with Sobeys, yeah, we really need some more missing piece like stat.
Yeah, we ended up selling more than we expected.
Yeah.
So he's like, "Do you have 100 cases?" Yeah, we have 100 cases, and we still would have had a bunch left over. And well, they went through about 50% more than that. So
Yeah, about 140-ish or so. So yeah.
Steve's out. He'll be brewing. He did brew double
Yes.
batch of missing piece on our system. It's quite a bit smaller than our typical contract brews, though, so it's still not enough to make up the shortage.
it'll just make it more hyper local. It'll be
Yeah.
more around Calgary
We're
area.
We're working with our contract brewer, so it shouldn't be too long before we're restocked.
Yeah.
But if for some reason you can't find it and you need it, let us know.
Yeah, let us know.
Totally.
Because
Yeah, totally.
there might be a small canning line that pumps it out if for hyperlocal need.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So, I mean, if people want some of those beers, they should get in touch with us.
Mm-hmm.
And how would they do that, Steve?
Well, they could go to our website, solutionsbrewing.com, where there is this neat little pop-up that says sign up for our newsletter. The newsletter will also, sometimes there's hidden messages or things that go on with it. Like, you should really sign up. It's
That's a secret. That's what makes it exclusive.
Yeah. Where there's also a form on our contact page that sends an email to our email address, noproblems@solutionsbrewing.com. And you can also find us on our Instagrams and Facebooks now that they're properly aligned again as well. Since we're posting not just the one, but to actually both, at Solutions Brewing Co.
And I'm pretty sure Elon fired the guy that was managing our Twitter account. So
Yeah. Well, we closed that account, but then he fired everyone. And apparently there was one engineer running like one of the APIs, but that broke recently. So like, what is it? Like most of the people can't log in on their phones anymore because of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Really?
yeah, it's hilariously bad how bad it is right now.
That's brutal.
But yeah, I think that's kind of wraps it for an episode. It's beer drinking is going down, but don't worry. We're still making great beer.
Indeed, yeah.
the sour from a brewery that isn't ours isn't great.
Good. It's fine.
Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
Steve stole a beer from Brendan to try to save him. because Brendan doesn't like sours, but then Brendan went and stole it back. So
Yeah, Brendan, that was a poor decision.
Biggest mistake of my life.
You should have waited for my judgment on this beer.
I should.
On paper, it sounds great, but
Well, we'll leave you with that, everyone.
yeah.
Jesus.
Take care, everyone.
Talk to you next
Talk to you next time.